Hello, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in here. Our conversation today is going to be about help, guidance, and assistance, as in loving guidance, loving, patient, certain guidance and assistance. This loving guidance, help that you have. You have it. In the world, we do not always feel this way. Quite clearly. We have our days, weeks, months, years, or decades, sometimes even, of moments where it doesn't feel like anything is working, and we feel utterly bereft of support, utterly bereft of guidance, and alone. It is all too common. We've all felt that at one time or another, and perhaps you're feeling it right now. So, wherever you appear to find yourself today, what I hope you take away, if you get nothing else out of our conversation today, I hope that you come away with some certainty that you do have help on the path. It is built in, and it is yours, but for the asking. You can ask for this certain calm, loving guidance at any time. How about right now? About today? There's a reason that you're watching today. Here in the world, we think that we have to make decisions alone. After all, we appear to be alone. We appear to be this, which appears to be separate from other things that we say are the same species as this, that look somewhat like this, running around. We think we're separate. Our entire social and economic systems, our political systems, every system that we've here devised in the world is predicated on this one mistake of separation. It is a fallacy. It is nothing. It is nothing at all. There is no separation of any kind. If you've watched these videos, you'll have heard me say that many times. That's true. There is no separation. Everything that appears to be separation is something we've made up. We've literally devised it from nothing, which means it's nothing. So we don't have to continue to attest to its reality. Separation is not real. If you're just joining us, welcome to A Course in Miracles. There is no separation of any kind. This is something that people comment all the time that rings true for them. Yes, there may be moments of resistance to this idea. That is the ego that's resisting. The ego is a simple mistake. There is no separate ego. The ego is our mistaken belief in a separate individual self. A separate individual self. It is an idea, and we could choose to set it aside because deep down, each of us knows that we are one. This is not some hippie pipe dream. It is not some bumper sticker, even though there are plenty of bumper stickers that say one love. Yeah, well, of course. It's not just a pipe dream. Perfect oneness is fact with a capital F, mind you. God is fact. You've always known that. We have all always known that. We do not have to choose to accept this. You are free, quite naturally, to deny anything that appears to come out of this pixelated image on your screen, which is, by the way, all that you're looking at. It's completely insubstantial, like a passing cloud. When something lands for you, it is your help with a capital H. It is your inner teacher speaking to you. We think that we make decisions on our own. We think we have to, yet when we attempt to, they go astray in the end. Sometimes immediately, sometimes they blow up right in our face. Other times we appear to have some success. We appear to get something that we want here in the world, like a new job or money or a hot, sexy romantic partner, maybe, if that's what you're looking for, brand new car or a windfall of several $1,000s, euros, pounds for whatever reason. I don't know. We appear to get things in the world sometimes which don't last. Nothing in this world lasts, and it does not, therefore, give us lasting happiness. That is what we seek. That cannot be found in the world. And perhaps you'll hear this for the first time today, perhaps the thousandth time. There is no world. Hmm. So, how can anything that appears in it give us lasting happiness? Happiness is to be found not in the world. The answer, with a capital A, is not of this world. Happily, neither are you. I'm not. Your neighbor is not. This course aims to flip our perception completely. It is upside down. Studying and practicing A Course in Miracles aims to flip it right side up. We do not see things as they are. We here are in the process of learning to see them as they truly are. From there, truth dawns of itself. That's awakening, enlightenment, realization, liberation. Call it whatever you want to call it. That full, complete realization, awakening, does not happen until we've fully and totally and wholly 100% clarified our perception. We think that we make decisions on our own, yet when we attempt to, something always goes amiss in the end. The very premise of making decisions on our own is faulty. It's not possible. We cannot make decisions by ourselves or for ourselves alone. That's impossible. Why? There is no separation of any kind. There is no separation. There's no separate self. There's no separate me and separate you. That's what it looks like here. That's not the way it is. And here on what we call the spiritual path, we're learning to see that for what it is. You have help, capital H. Remember, I said a few minutes ago, it's built in. Our inner teacher, the Holy Spirit, or call it whatever you want, you may call it by more than one name, too, incidentally. You may call it your counsel, or your team, or your guides, or call it Elvis, I don't know, Betty, whatever. Those are all just names, an artificial collection of sounds that we've gotten together and assigned meaning to. Your inner teacher is part of our mind. i.e., built in, part of us. It is this part that's known by many names, even here in A Course in Miracles. The Holy Spirit's known in large part as the voice for God. He's known as the answer with a capital A, comforter with a capital C, help here with a capital H, among other things. This is the part of our mind that will teach us, should we only allow it, should we let it. It will teach us to see things as they are, to let go of all of our drama, which acts as a veil over our sight, teaches us to lift the veil. Lovingly, always lovingly, not coercively, not in a forced manner. Nobody makes you do your forgiveness work. If you choose not to, that's your choice. The Holy Spirit simply waits for you to change your mind. The Holy Spirit will give you everything. All you must do is provide what this course refers to as a little willingness to allow it. And here in the world where we think we have to do everything on our own, we're also shrouded in guilt or overburdened with it. Perhaps the weight of guilt that you feel for a number of different reasons is overpowering. Yeah. We often, in this state of mind, ask ourselves whether we're worthy of the gift of God. We think that we're not. We feel shame. We feel less than. We feel like we've fallen short again and again. And so many of the world's systems don't help us with this in any way, do they? So the Holy Spirit will never ask what you've done to be worthy of the gift of God. He knows that you are, and simply moves right past all of those, well, I don't feel worthy kind of thoughts. He knows that you are. We're invited to trust in the Holy Spirit's guidance. This is so much of the practice of this material. Our learning to relax and trust. We have help. It is readily available to us. And what we do is simply ask. Here in the abstract, as we watch a video just like this, it doesn't sound hard to ask, yet we make it so difficult. We're afraid to let our guilt go. Why? Because we're afraid of awakening. I know, unflattering. And you may protest that, no, that's not true. Okay, prove it to yourself, right? I mean, this is why we appear to be here. It's why we're having this conversation, because we have all shrunk from the light. We refuse, time and again, to look within. So we expend ourselves looking for the answer out there, yet the answer is built in, capital A. The answer is in here. It's in our mind already. All we have to do is ask. That little willingness to ask. It's only the anticipation of asking that's scary. Actually doing it is not scary. It's the anticipation prior, where we doubt, where we question ourselves ad nauseum. We are afraid of what we'll see, the light. Yet we're also deeply attracted to it. It is who we are. So, yeah, of course we are. We all want the peace of God. So, what we're invited to do as students of this course is to want the peace of God and nothing else. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. So, yes, we're invited to want that and only that. It is why we appear to find ourselves on the spiritual path in the first place. You may not have thought of it this way, but this is true. You have heard the call of our inner teacher to awaken. It goes out to everyone, to all of us. It's universal, and it goes out to all of us at all times. The question in any given moment is, are you listening? Of course, there are billions of people who are clearly not listening. Yet, what's relevant, what is directly germane, is that you have listened and you've done so more than once because you're watching this. This course doesn't mess around, it's a direct approach. Set the ego aside and awaken. Learn to perceive truly under the guidance of your inner teacher. It does not mess around. And there's nothing, in truth, to fear. So all of the fear that you feel is in fact an opportunity for forgiveness. It's an opportunity to take a look at it and give it over to the Holy Spirit. He knows what to do with it. The Holy Spirit is the light that shines all of the darkness away. You'll be shown exactly what to do, what to say, and to whom, where to go, if anywhere. All of those things. We have only to relax and trust the guidance of our inner teacher, the voice for God. We think we have to decide things by ourselves, but we don't. In fact, it's impossible. So what do? We allow the Holy Spirit to decide for us. His judgment is always true. Let him decide for you. This may seem highly bizarre and scary. In allowing the Holy Spirit to run the show, all of it, you are not giving away your power to an outside source. There is no outside. The Holy Spirit, again, is built in. It's part of our mind, and the help is there always, but for the asking. So please ask. What does this in practice look like? Well, I can only tell you from my own experience. When I first encountered this material and the idea, allow the Holy Spirit to decide for you, I felt the same resistance that perhaps you're feeling. And a lot of that stems from my history here in this world and my work history and the fact that I've spent most of my adult life as an entrepreneur, in other words, running the show, I have become quite used to making decisions, and I made them by myself. I was reluctant at first, as many of you are, and it's quite natural to resist this. I was reluctant to let it go. I thought, okay, well, that actually does make sense. Of course, I really can't make decisions on my own. And when I do, they don't work out in the end. Even if I have a sustained period of success, which I have, I mean, I've had successful ventures in life. Yeah, they didn't bring lasting happiness. They didn't even bring steady streams of income all of the time anyway. So, right? It made sense to me that we can't make, in fact, we cannot make decisions by ourselves. But I was reluctant to let that go. So, what does this then require? Well, continued practice, for one, continued exposure to the idea that, in fact, we can't make decisions by ourselves because we're not by ourselves. There is no one out there. And what has helped me more than anything, and I hope that you may find this helpful too, is this idea that of ourselves, we cannot guarantee when we make a decision in life, whether it's a business decision or a relationship decision, when we attempt to go it alone, thinking that we're alone and we have to do it by ourselves, when we do this, we cannot guarantee total benefit to every living thing. We can't even guarantee that the decision we make is going to work for 5 minutes, much less all of time, past, present, future. We of ourselves cannot possibly guarantee that our decision made by ourselves with little ego self, we can't guarantee that it's going to have maximum beneficial impact on every single living thing throughout space and time. Guaranteed. We cannot do that, can we? When you honestly answer that no, we cannot, our inner teacher can and does. So, shouldn't we trust his guidance? What does it look like to let the Holy Spirit run the show? Well, you'll find, should you honestly do this, that things that once got to you really badly, things that once bothered you really a lot, may no longer even register. It's nothing. A person that may have irked you to no end years ago or months ago or weeks ago, whatever, no longer irks you after the sustained habitual practice of true forgiveness, the sustained habitual practice of giving over your entire experience to your inner teacher and saying, decide for me. Hmm. It seems like you're giving away power. No, you're accessing it. How will you then feel? Well, it's entirely likely that you'll feel more patient, more relaxed, calmer, more forgiving, more loving, yeah, more gracious, maybe. Many different things. And here's the thing that we would all do well to recognize. You won't know if it works unless you try it. Many of us come to this course because we've tried everything else, so it appears. There are many traditions out there. There are many modalities out there. A Course in Miracles is not superior to nor inferior to any of them. Remember, there is no separation of any kind. So there is, in truth, no hierarchy. There's no division or categorization. Hmm, yeah, there are no categories of superior, inferior. There's no gradation. There's only perfect oneness. Here in the world, it appears that there are many doors. This is but one door. Again, truth is very simple. Our inner teacher knows, and we're invited to lean on its guidance. All we have to do is ask. You have help built in. All right. So you may find it a happy occurrence that this course gets right to it and it doesn't mess around. A lot of us are here because we're done messing around. So there's absolutely nothing to stop you from getting in touch with your inner teacher right now, today. And I hope that you may do so. Along the way, questions, of course, are bound to arise, and this is a perfect forum. It's a safe space that's designed this way for people to bring their questions about A Course in Miracles, about spirituality, about the path, and any question is completely valid. So if you've got one and you'd like to ask it, please feel welcome to do that. And please also subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. This is the prompt in the corner of your screen. Click that arrow and you'll be invited to join us. And when you do, there are several videos that appear each week. We're going through the text of A Course in Miracles, but I'm always willing to pause this sequential procession to address topics of relevance and concern for you. As a guide myself, I'm very interested in what's coming up for you live. So if you have particular questions, please hop into the comments and let me know about that. I'm more than happy to devote an entire conversation or series of conversations to that very issue. And if you do that, by the way, people have done that from time to time here, and there've been excellent questions. It's directly relevant because it's coming up for you, and I'm willing to bet that there's somebody else on the other side of the world whom you'll not likely meet in person in this lifetime who's got the same question. So you benefit many people. Food for thought. All right. So ask them if you've got them, and I will talk to all of you very soon. Thank you, as always, for joining me.